went to high school together, knew of each other, didn't really hang out in the same crowd. After I graduated, he's a year older than me, I worked with his mom, had a summer job working with his mom. She's the one who kind of hooked us up, I guess. She reached out to me. She was like, "Do you have a boyfriend?" I was like, "No."
My mother told me to reach out to her. She said she's working with this real cute young girl, and she just graduated, and that I should reach out to her and see, you know, if she is interested in going out to eat. And so I reached out.
Well, she asked if I would be interested in going to coffee.
Yep.
I don't drink coffee.
Yeah. And so I wasn't relayed that information. I asked if she wanted to go to coffee, and she said no. And I said, well, what about tea? Thought she's a Southern girl, and she said, no, I don't like tea either. And I thought, hell, surely you eat at some point in time. You want to go get something to eat. And so it was all history from there.
He ended up cooking me like a full course meal, like a baked potato, a steak, some good sides. It was a nice first date. They say, you know, guys, the way to their heart is through their stomach. I guess it was the opposite for me.
Yeah.
I guess he kind of cooked his way into my heart.
I knew for a while that I was going to propose, and there's some discrepancy here as to what she said. But I asked her, I said, you know, when do you want to get married? And her answer was steadfast, I want to wait till after school. I said, all right. And so it was probably a Thanksgiving or some family holiday, and the family, you know, broached the subject. You know, we've been together 7-8 years, and broached the subject and said, you know, when's it happening? She said, I don't know, I'm waiting on him. And they all looked at me, and I looked at her and just went, okay, all right. So that's when
Duly noted.
that's when I started the plan. And we were planning the New Year's Eve trip. I don't think that she had ever been to Colorado at that point. And I had gone there multiple times, really liked it, had friends up there, and I knew it was supposed to be snowing, it was going to be pretty. And so we went up there, and I tried to find somewhere that had a really good view, somewhere that was really high up. That way we could see the mountains and see the lights and everything. And I finally found somewhere that said that they don't take reservations, but they said that you can almost always get a table. It's more of like a bar with a little eatery spot. And so we're trying to get ready. Of course, she knows nothing about it, and she's taken her typical amount of time to get ready. And I know that we have to get there early to get a spot. And so we made it there, and you know, it was seat yourself type thing, and it was almost jam-packed. There was almost nowhere to sit, and my heart, you know, was racing. Over the course of 30 minutes, we moved probably 3-4 times.
I think 3 times.
And finally, we get a spot right on the window. And it's not even like a table. There's tables between the seats. It's by God, that's all you can see is out the window. I decide that's the spot, and I've already kind of ruined the night by moving around and acting so weird. And so I knew I needed to get on with it. And about, you know, 2 or 3 minutes later, I get up the gall to do it, and I get down on one knee, and the whole restaurant explodes. You know, I go through my spiel, I say I do, and she just looks at me. And the whole restaurant is screaming, hollering, and she's just staring at me. I'm thinking, oh my God. I said, well, what do you say? And she says, yes. And, you know, restaurant explodes again, and we hug.
But all I remember ever hearing is, what do you say?
Yeah.
I'm looking down at him, and maybe, I mean, I'm sure he said something.
I said,
all I heard was, what do you say? And I was like, well, of course.
yeah.
It was a lot of fun. They brought us champagne, and it was New Year's Eve, so, I mean, there were fireworks going off throughout the city. I thought it was a little odd that he had taken the initiative to, like, plan a dinner for us. or especially like made reservations or something. He had told me that I needed to be ready by a certain time. We needed to get to the restaurant at this time.
And
I didn't think anything of it, so I took my time and clearly didn't listen. And
it's super atypical of me to do that because I'm very much like, we don't make a decision of where we're going to eat until we're starving, and we spontaneously go. We don't plan a time for things.
Especially on vacations like that, we want to kind of be able to just look around and see what looks good, see what sounds good. But it definitely was a magical night. We got engaged right before COVID, and so we were engaged, and then that next February, COVID came around, and that kind of put a halt on our wedding planning process, which was okay because Bailey was at the time in law school in Atlanta, and I was kind of finishing up my school in education, and we were taking our time to finish that so that we could kind of focus on this. So it's all kind of worked out. We've been engaged a while, but it's kind of worked out, and we're ready now.